Hello, bosses. Welcome back to my channel. I am Andrea Patrick, the BU Boss, and on this channel, we're learning how to be more effective, efficient, and aware leaders, whether that's in life, career, or business. And we are smack dab in the middle of my 5 C's to Be You series. And we have covered change, where we talked about how hard it is and what we can do to mitigate the issues that are surrounding the changes that we need to make. We've talked about clutter and getting things out of our way so that we can focus on what's really important and achieve our goals. And this week we are going to look at choices. There are a plethora of choices out there that we have to make every single day, but there are some that we can get rid of. We can just edit them out of our lives so that they are no longer choices that we have to make. I'm talking about this a little bit more in detail on the theoretical side over on my podcast. So make sure you go visit there. The CEO Mindset podcast. I'll definitely make sure that we link everything below. But here on the YouTube, we're covering the practical side, and I'm sharing with you how to walk this out in real life, in real time. If you can see, we're here in my closet and we are going to talk about how to get rid of some of this excess in your life, these cluttery, these chaotic choices that we have to make on a daily basis in our closet, right? And so if that sounds like something that you want to see, how am I going to pare all this down into a capsule wardrobe that makes getting ready so much easier, and it makes that particular choice a very easy one so that I can move on to the more important ones. Keep watching. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to minimize your choices so that you can optimize your options. I'm going to walk that out here in my closet because I've made the decision to create a capsule wardrobe. And along the way, obviously, we're talking about my closet, but along the way, I'm going to be giving you some practical tips that go along with what you heard over on my podcast to help you with whatever it is you need to minimize your choices in so that you can optimize your options. Just like last week when we were talking about clutter and I walked you through how I organized my pantry, I did start out with a plan. I followed all of those steps for what I wanted to do. This isn't an organization, this is more of a purge. So some of the steps we aren't going to follow, but I did follow a couple. Number one, I did pull together all the elements that I was going to need to be successful in this particular purging session. So I will have a rack off to the side, and I've decided that instead of trying to go through everything and decide what I am going to get rid of, I am going to start with those items that I think in my head I want to keep, because that's going to be a much smaller list. So we're going to do a capsule wardrobe that is about 45 pieces for spring, summer, and I'm going to pare down right now as many as I can for winter. So I'm going to try to get to a point where I have about 45 pieces for winter and fall. So that doesn't entail shoes. I'm not ready to go through those quite yet. I do have a few that I know I'm going to get rid of, but we'll get to that later. And it does not include like workout gear or pajamas or things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I got started with my capsule wardrobe editing process in my closet, the first thing I did was go look at my Pinterest board, right? I mean, honestly, that's what that's there for. So I took a look at the Pinterest board, my style board, and I went through it to see what exactly it was I wanted with this particular capsule, what I wanted to have in there. And so I looked at the board, I looked at those pictures. If you don't have a Pinterest account, you could be looking at your magazines or like just people that you see on the television. You could just kind of save some images to your computer. The next thing I did was I was really honest as I was looking at those pictures about my body type and what it looks like. I know I am, not the size 2 that can wear everything. So I had to keep that in mind. I also needed to understand how to accentuate those positive parts of my body that I really like. And then I needed to also know what types of clothing, what style of clothing I needed to camouflage those negative things. If you want to see more videos on how to determine that for yourself, like your body type and what styles, particular styles they are, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure to create that video. It is something that I enjoy. I was a wardrobe stylist for a long time. And then the next thing I did was I decided on my colors and what I wanted for myself. I have a vision, right, for my uniform. So I kept all of that in mind. And then so after I did all of that, the next thing I did was I looked at creating a new Pinterest board. And for you, you may want to scrapbook or whatever, but I created a new Pinterest board and I just called it My Uniform. And I pulled pieces from my current My Style board. And I just put things in that My Uniform board on Pinterest that I knew I wanted my look to be, what I wanted my uniform to be. And it made it so much easier for me to get into my wardrobe and pick out what I knew I wanted versus what I didn't want, and trying to go through every single piece. As you can see, my wardrobe is pretty plentiful. So that's kind of how I started the whole uniform creation process. Now, back to the video. I have a couple of pair of shorts that I'll be keeping. These are a pair of linen shorts that I purchased last year. And I've got some blue and white denim shorts that are in the wash that I know I will be keeping. This dress, by the way, which is something that is not going to stay in my wardrobe, but it's a Sunday afternoon. We just got home from church and I want to throw on something quick and easy and simple. And so that's why I have this on. But this is more of like a house dress, if you will, because I love polka dots. I love black and white. Hence, this top is definitely staying in the capsule wardrobe. As you saw how I went through Pinterest and created my board and determined my uniform, jeans are a huge component of that. And I have a ton of jeans, as you can see. And so I need to go through and pare them down. I'm going to do a fitting and determine what works best for my body type and how I can incorporate that into my wardrobe. I think I've settled on a pair of white denim jeans, a pair of dark denim jeans, trouser slack, and maybe a couple of pair of distressed jeans. And so I might do 2 pair of distressed jeans, 1 pair of dark jeans, and a trouser jean. Gosh, that's a lot of jeans. But anyway, we'll see. So you can look forward to seeing what I chose in the final capsule wardrobe reveal that I'll be doing here in just a moment. Okay, so we talked about the black and white, the navy and cream, the gray and cream being colors that work with the message that I'm trying to create with my look. But let me show you a few things that are in my wardrobe that are black and white, so they do fit the color palette of my uniform. However, there are some things that don't work. So let me show you what they are. So this chevron dress, for instance, you may recognize it from some of my brand shoot pictures. Why does this not work? Number one, the chevron pattern is not something that I appreciate with my uniform, number one. And then number two, the shape of the dress is just not flattering. I am not the thinnest person on earth, although I am working on it and it is working. But I know that this is not the shape that I want my uniform to have with my dresses. So therefore, even though it's the right color, doesn't quite make the mark. This is the cutest jumper. It is a romper, it's a jumper. I love her and she's polka dots, right? Okay, why does this not work? Well, for one, I've lost some weight and it's too big. But for two, the jumper is just not in my uniform. That's not the look that I want. So it's making it very easy. Even though I love that jumper and I love the polka dots, it's just not doing it for me in terms of what I want my capsule wardrobe to have in it. So I'm being very, very diligent about making sure I'm putting things in this capsule wardrobe that reflect the story I'm trying to tell with my wardrobe, and it reflects the style I want to have with my image and like the legacy and what I'm leaving behind when I am around people. Now this is just a black and white dress. It could have been flattering. It is a bit boxy. Like I said, I've lost some weight. It fits the color palette if you remember, black and white. But let me tell you why this doesn't work. 2 reasons actually. One, the shape of it does not work for me anymore. I have changed the shape. And sometimes back when I was really buying clothes, it was more about, ooh, that's a black and white dress. Ooh, that looks comfortable. I'll buy it. And I wasn't thinking about the style or like really being intentional about my uniform. Just only the colors. It did have the black and white. All right, let's keep going, guys. Okay, so now that I have sort of shown you a few of the pieces that I definitely wanted to keep in my wardrobe, I wanted to come back on and talk to you about why I decided to keep those. I realized that there was a lot of blue and a little bit of black, but here's my thought on that. In the summertime, I don't like wearing shorts that much. That's why I only have 2 pair. I love the feel of dresses and the flowiness of them. And so now I can start to formulate a plan for what I'm going to need to pick up once I get rid of all of this stuff. Okay, so that's kind of the mindset so far with this capsule wardrobe creation. Now let's keep on going. Okay, so we have gone ahead and moved all of the blue and the dresses and the shorts over with the skirts. And before we move on, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this polka dot pattern and the colors of the polka dot pattern. And that goes along with my theory of creating a uniform for yourself. One of the things that is making it easier for me to create a capsule wardrobe for myself is really knowing about my look, understanding myself, what I like and what I don't like, and sort of how I want to present myself to people. So a long time ago, I'm gonna tell you this quick little story. We were gonna sell our house and we had movers come in, and this adorable lady came in to give us a quote on how much it would cost for her company to pack us all up and move us. And she had on the cutest little white capri pants and a black top, and it was very simple, but it was so nice. And I complimented her on how nice and put together she looked, because at the time, child, I was doing like wardrobe styling, so I was all into that. And she said something that was so profound. She said, you know what? My closet is full of black and white because it makes it very easy for me to get dressed in the morning. I don't have to think about it. I can close my eyes, pick a top, pick a bottom, and I know that they will match. In that moment, it dawned on me that that is such a good idea. Whether you're a color girl or you're a navy girl, a neutral girl, a black and white girl, whatever your combination is, decide on your style. Really get in tune with what it is you're trying to say with your look, and then decide on a uniform. So for me, I love navy blue and cream. I love gray and cream. I love black and white. Now, I know that sounds a little bit boring to people, but I also love accessorizing. I love accessories, shoes, purses, jewelry, makeup, hair. I like to show my personality in those areas. And so my clothes, I want them to be easy as pie. So one of the things that is making it so easy for me to create this capsule wardrobe is that I know what I want my uniform to be. I have gone through Pinterest. I have looked at all kinds of magazines over years now, and I've recognized a specific style that always catches my eye. And so because of that, it's making it so much easier for me to go through and just purge anything that does not fit that uniform. So that's where this polka dot top came in. I love black and white, and because it's a heavier material, it will make it for both my spring summer wardrobe and my fall winter wardrobe, because this is a really cute blouse that can be worn with a pair of nice black slacks, a nice black skirt, or a nice pair of blue jeans with some cute shoes. So there you go. That is how this is making it into the wardrobe. So I hope that's helping you as you begin to create your very own capsule wardrobe. Choices. Now we have to think about, this is black and white. It does fit the bill in terms of the colors. I can't say that I'm really sold on this blouse, even though there's really nothing wrong with it. And it would be cute with jeans and possibly that black denim skirt. So this is definitely one of those maybe things that we'll have to put on the rack and then come back and try out later to see if it really will fit the bill, if it fits with the aesthetic of the look that I'm going for. But it does have the black and white. It's short sleeves. It's kind of flirty on the sleeves. So I like that. The only question I have is it is a bit boxy, so it really depends on how this looks with the jeans. So I'll have to put this on with a cute pair of skinny jeans or something and some wedges and see if we can style this up really nicely. Now we have sort of stumbled on another category of items that I am struggling on. So far you've seen the casual sort of date night type thing. I've also talked to you about the uniform and why just because something is in the colors you like doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be in the wardrobe because they don't fit the aesthetic of the message you're trying to convey with your nonverbal messaging in your wardrobe, right? We talked about that, and I have put all of those things that I'm keeping over on the rack. But here comes another subject matter that I'm struggling with. In the past, I have purchased a ton of jumpsuits, okay? I'm deciding on whether or not I should keep a couple of them for both summer and winter because they're black. I've got a couple that are black. So this black jumper is the great like weighted material that you can travel with, and you can dress it up. You can casual it down with a sneaker and a baseball cap if you want to, a denim jacket. But it's one of those things that you should probably keep in your wardrobe. Black is a classic color. It's a great shape. It's sort of slenderizing because it's not really bulky. I can add a belt to it. I can add a heel to it. I can add patterns to it. So I think overall this is one of the items that I will keep. Now I have this one and I have several more. So I will do a little rundown with you on all of them, and then I'll tell you which ones I decided to keep later. But think about that, because when you are purging anything, whether it's your wardrobe, whether it's your closet, your pantry like we did last week, whether it's friendships, relationships, consider the overall value of the thing, the person, the circumstances, because sometimes those small things that get on your nerves or that you think are not going to be worth it are just that. They're small things that you can tolerate, but the overall advantage, the overall benefit of having that thing or that person in your life outweighs the reasons for them not to be there or the item not to be there. And in this case, the only real thing that is the struggle for me is the sleevelessness. But because we're going to be able to use this in both summer and winter, and because it is the nice fabric that you can sort of ball up and put in your travel bag when you have to go somewhere and look nice, that is another advantage. And the fact that it's black, it's a classic color, it goes with absolutely everything, another advantage. And the fact that it can be dressed up or dressed down depending on the circumstances. It can be worn either way, yet another advantage. So I think the black jumpsuit is going to stay in the wardrobe for both summer and winter, so that means I might get to keep two. These are the things that you think about when you are purging and you're really trying to be more intentional and discerning with your choices and getting rid of the things that just don't need to be there. Just uncluttering your mind, giving yourself the ability to minimize all of the choices so that you can optimize your options. And you see what I did with this black jumper. Way more options, but I can still minimize my wardrobe and create a capsule wardrobe, but keep something like this because it will optimize my options. Now I want to talk about two pieces that are near and dear to me that I believe will fit both wardrobes as well. My daughter did not like the choices, but she's 18, so what does she know? I'm a grown woman with a business, so it is what it is. So I want to show you these two pieces, and I feel they'll probably be a bit controversial, but again, you have to think about your wardrobe, the aesthetic that you want to have, the message that you want to convey. Now, one of these things is definitely in my wheelhouse. It has my color palette and it has a pattern that I love, and so I think that one's a no-brainer. The second one, however, has some sentimental value, as well as it's adding another dimension to my wardrobe that if I ever were to need it, which sometimes you do and you're like traveling and you want to be, you want to really pull out a whole new you, this does it. So let me get it. Hold on. So the first one is this beautiful long maxi skirt, It's black and white and it has the polka dots. Absolutely love this skirt. I feel like it's classic. There's no point in getting rid of it. I don't know that I'd ever be able to find it again. They did have this in a navy blue and white at the time, but it wasn't at my store, so I could only get the black and white one. But I don't foresee me getting rid of this because it is just so amazing for both summer and winter and everything in between. So for sure we're going to keep her. Now this second one is again a bit controversial, but just bear with me. All right, here we are. This is another maxi skirt that has somewhat of like an Aztec or ethnic print to it, and I love this skirt, guys. The story behind it is a sentimental skirt. My daughter and I used to watch a show, and Jonathan Broderick and his partner had a store in Harlem, New York called Born. My daughter and I used to watch their show every week and we loved it. They were consignment shop owners who dealt in more high-end clothing, and we just loved the show. And so my family and I all traveled to New York a few years ago, and we actually went to Born. My daughter met the cast, had a fantabulous time, and this skirt, I got this skirt from there, and I just don't want to let it go because I love that experience. And it's again one of those pieces, it does not fit with the aesthetic of my overall uniform. However, it is just funky enough. It does have the black and white in it, but it does have the other pops of color. So I can always just add a black top, add a white top to it, and tone down the top and give myself life at the bottom. And I can just throw on a nice jacket with it and work it out. I can wear boots with it in the wintertime, sandals with it in the summertime, and really get a lot of use out of it. So these two pieces are definitely keepers, I think. Oh my gosh, guys, I gotta figure out how many pieces I have in my wardrobe so far, because remember, I'm only trying to have about 45 pieces in my wardrobe. So okay, but I think these two are definite shoe-ins. Listen, I really hope you enjoyed this week's video, because choices can be so overwhelming when you are starting your business, when you're working in your personal life or in your career. Choices can be paralyzing. And I want you to take away from this video, as hopefully you took away from the podcast that I did this week. If you've not checked that out, go ahead over to my podcast link. It's gonna be in the description below, and listen to that, because I'm giving great tips on that and the whole idea of paralysis by analysis and not being bogged down by choices, and how you can maximize your options or optimize your options by minimizing your choices. And I hope that that has really hit home. I'm walking that out for you here in my closet, but I hope you get some really solid steps and tools and tips that you can take away from this video to help you in life, business, and your career, because that's why we're here, right? If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, that give it a big thumbs up, and that notification bell to make sure that you are notified every time a new video comes out. This is number 3 of our 5 C's to be used, so make sure you keep on watching, because I've got 2 more coming up and I know you're going to love them. Thanks again for watching.